Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan Cochran-Siegle, alpine skier, currently in Austria and now getting ready for the World Cup opener this coming weekend. Definitely, it's funny looking back on the last 4 years. It's been a cool process, and I think every year I've tried to gain a little bit more, and definitely had a really strong season last year. Got injured, hurt my neck, but I've had a good return, really good training prep, and feel good about the season. But just enjoying the process and enjoying every day. Yeah, well, first, I think I've been fortunate that I've been able to do so many events and bounce between the two teams for more or less, it seems like 4 or 5 years now. So I'm getting used to it. I always have a lot of fun with both teams. I think the speed guys definitely have a different vibe, and same as the tech. And everyone really is really inclusive, and we're all just out there trying to, push each other to be better. But yeah, it's definitely unique. There's a lot that you kind of have to handle, being kind of more just balancing both. World Cup downhill in Kitzbühel in end of January, fractured my C7 in my neck, and had surgery on it. I had the C6 and C7 fused in February, and I mean, it was just a whole lot of doing nothing for 2 months, but got back on snow in May, and then I was fully back up to speed, training speed in our summer camp in like beginning of August in Zermatt and Saasvee. So that's been going well. And the weird thing about the injury was like I wasn't ever in pain. It was just kind of nerve issues in my right arm, but the rest of my body was fine. So in my head, like I felt I was, aside from the little fracture, I was totally capable of going out the next day and racing. And I think having experienced that versus other injuries where, I mean, your muscles get like when they cut, say for a knee injury, when everything gets cut up and like there's a lot of trauma with that. It's just different. So I feel like my level of skiing that I had prior, I can still attain right now. And that's kind of my goal this season, is to get back to that competitiveness. As far as like being the veteran, I think I'm still like, I feel between the group that I've been with the last 2 weeks here. Obviously I'm older between River and Bridger. So there's definitely a little bit of I don't know, the roles have changed now, and that's kind of a cool experience. But I think just trying to do everything I can to be a better skier myself, and also push River and push Bridger too to be better skiers for them. But then likewise, when I'm with the speed team, I still consider myself kind of one of those young guys with Jared and Bryce, whereas like Steven and Travis they're the wily vets in my eyes. I used to be really superstitious growing up, and I would have weird things. Like I didn't like to look at myself in the mirror on race day. But since then, like I've tried to get out of those habits. Just you try to get yourself in the mental space where you can just focus on skiing and focusing on performing, not worrying about things that are out of your control. And then to stay warm, I think my biggest thing is I like to wear buffs. So I always try to wear a Skeeta buff. That's kind of I don't know, view. Yeah, I think speaking to the snow in China, the majority of tracks I think that we ski on are artificially made. And they also do a lot of like either watering or injecting with water to make it more of an icy surface. So I don't think there's a whole lot of concern from our sport side of that kind of unnatural element to the games. But it is, I think we always kind of just have to face whatever is thrown at us and adapt. And then for climate change, I think exactly what Thomas was talking about with like the differences in just the shapes of the glaciers. And from when I first started coming over here to Europe and seeing what they were and what they are now, there's significant changes. The race hill at Solden, if it wasn't for them covering the slope, there would not be a race here. So there's definitely major impacts right now because of climate change and on our sport. And I think kind of always recognizing that and recognizing those challenges is key in order to keep our sport alive. Yeah, it's massive. And yeah, I just recently switched ahead, which has been a cool experience. I'd been with Rossignol my whole life, and kind of just switching things up, trying something new, seeing what's out there is kind of why I went into it and why I made that switch. But I mean, this whole summer has just been about trying to figure out what type of setup works for me. I mean, between GS, Super G, and downhill, there's multiple variations, multiple different constructions. Bindings are totally different. Boots, all the setups can be you can play around with it. So it's just about getting something that you feel comfortable and you know how it'll react on race day. So this whole last 2 weeks, I've been skiing more or less on 1 or 2 pairs of skis, and then a good a few differences of bindings and boots. And I think getting dialed and just getting that comfort level to where you can push and the limitations and how to just generate power in the equipment that you have. It seems like the whole COVID protocol is the same as last year. So we've gone through a whole season of it and kind of understand what's required of us, staying in our bubbles and obviously doing our best, upkeeping with our hygiene and doing whatever we can. I mean, it's a new world, especially in kind of the world of sport and how you handle that. But I think it's nice having gone through it last year and having that experience, and just, it is what it is. We all have to work through it.